Hey guys, welcome to VLOGOWEEN day 27. Today I am going to tell you guys some of my favorite Halloween dances on Dancing with the Stars. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to say who the couple is, what dance they did, the scores, everything about it. And obviously what season it's from. So starting off with season 19, they had a Halloween week in season 3. But I've never seen season 3 before, so I've only seen a couple dances on YouTube, but not enough for me to... I don't think I've seen any of the Halloween dances except Joey Lawrence, I think. I think he was on season 3. I could be wrong. But I've seen a couple of the dances from Halloween week on there from season 3, but not enough to make a whole video about it. So I am excluding all of the season 3 Halloween night dances because, I've never seen season 3, so not in its entirety, just a couple dances from it. But after season 3, I don't think they've had a Halloween week until season 19, and then they've had a Halloween week ever since. Now, not every season, because before, they used to do a spring season and then a fall season, so they would have a season 2 times in 1 year. So every year they would have one season in March, and that would end in May around there, and then they would have another season from September to around November. And then until they kept doing that, having 2 seasons in 1 year until around season 27. Then they only started having 1 season per year, and that would be in September to November or December. And this year started September 26th, I'm pretty sure. And I think the finale is on December 5th, so it's a bit later than usual for them to have it, but as long as they're not canceling the show, because I'll be really upset and devastated if they canceled one of my favorite shows of all time. So, I've been watching the show since I was 9 years old, so if they ever cancel it, I'm going to be so upset. Beyond. Probably the most upset person on the planet. So, yeah. So, starting with season 19, I'm going to, not really have this video in sections, but, I'm going to talk about season 19 dances first, and then I'll talk about all of season 21's dances and stuff like that. So, again, starting with season 19, the first one is Bethany and Derek. Now, by the way, I'm not going to be talking about any of the Halloween night dances from season 28, I'm pretty sure. And I only have one from season 29. Reason why I don't have any from season 28 is because, yes, I've seen them all, but none of them really stood out to me enough to be on this list of my favorite Halloween dances from the show. So, again, Bethany and Derek, the first dance on this list from season 19, and the first dance on this list in general, they did a paso doble to Run Boy Run by Woodkid, and they got 3 10s and a 9 for a total of 39 out of 40. Next one is Jeanette, why did I put... It autocorrected to Jeanette, and it meant to say Janelle Parrish. I hate with a passion autocorrect sometimes. I don't want Jeanette or Janet or whatever. I want Janelle Parrish, because that's who I'm talking about, not Jeanette. Who's Jeanette Parrish? Anyway, moving on. Janelle Parrish and Val, not Jeanette. Janelle Parrish and Val. They did Avini's Waltz to Secret by the Pierces, which is a theme song from one of her shows that she's on. She plays Mona Vanderwall on Pretty Little Liars, and that's the theme song to Pretty Little Liars. One of my favorite shows of all time. I've seen literally every episode, multiple times, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm probably going to start rewatching it on Netflix again, because I just love it that much. And I literally have the entire season on DVD. I literally went to Walmart. Now, not very often will I pay $120 for a DVD, but just because I loved Pretty Little Liars so much, I literally went to Walmart and I spent $120 on the entire collection, on the entire series on DVD. That's how much I love it. But yeah, I felt they were really underscored with this dance. They got 3 8s and a 7 for a total of 31 and a 40, and I really feel like they were completely underscored in this dance. They deserved even all 8s. But that 7, honestly, to me was a bit uncalled for. They did not do that bad. 7 is not a bad score in any way, but she definitely didn't deserve a 7. All 8s, or higher, for sure. Maybe not all 10s or a single 10, but 8s or 9s, but definitely not a 7. Next one is Sadie and Mark. They did a Paso Doble to Sadie Robertson, I mean. They did a Paso Doble to Come With Me Now by Congos. They got 2 7s and 2 8s for a total of 30 out of 40. I also felt like this dance was underscored as well, just like Janelle and Val's was. I feel like they didn't do bad enough to get a 7. Like, I've seen the dance multiple times, and it's one of my favorite dances, literally based on my excitement. Now, by the way, all these dances that I'm talking about in today's video are my favorites based on personal enjoyment. How much I enjoyed the dance. Now, it doesn't matter if they were bad, if they were good. If I enjoyed the choreography and the energy, it's going to be a part of this list. If it stood out to me in any way, even if it's just the costumes, it's going to be a part of this list. So it doesn't matter, because I have one person on this list that from last year, season 31, that was definitely, without a doubt, no offense to him, but he was the worst one in his season. But just because I love the choreo and the costumes, his Halloween dance is a part of this list. But anyway, like I said, Sadie and Mark's Paso Doble, I feel like I said with Janelle Parrish and Val, they were also very underscored. I don't think they deserved a 10 for that dance, because it wasn't as good as a 10 or like a perfect score. But I do feel like they should have gotten all 8s or not, or even just a couple 9s. 8s or 9s I feel like they deserved. I don't think they deserved a single 7 for that, because that wasn't as bad as a 7. But moving on. So those are all the dances from season 19 on this list. Now moving on to season 21. There's only one from season 21 and 23. So from season 21 is Bendy, Irwin, and Derek's Argentine Tango to Cry Little Sister by Gerard McMahon. They got all 10s, as they should. It was incredible, but they got a perfect score, 30 out of 30. Next is from season 23, James Hinchcliffe, I'm talking about. Vianney's Waltz to You Don't Owe Me, one of my favorite songs, by Grace featuring G-Eazy, and of course they deserved it. All 10s, perfect score, 30 out of 30. Now moving on to season 25, I think there are like two dances from season 25 on this list. First is Jordan Fisher and Lindsay's Paso Doble to Animals by Martin Garrix. I freaking love that song. And again, as deserved, they got all 10s, perfect score, 30 out of 30. Next is Frankie Muniz and Whitney's Contemporary to Every Breath You Take by Chase Holfelder. Love that song as well. And this dance was incredible. I swear to God, Whitney makes the best contemporaries. It's honestly very sad that she's not on this season, because, I mean, especially her Halloween contemporaries, they're on another level. Like, she is the queen of contemporary, honestly. But they got all 10s, 30 out of 30. And now moving on to season 27. First is Milo and Whitney, who did, of course, Whitney again. Another iconic contemporary from Whitney for this one. To Toxic by 2WEI. They do, like, covers of different songs, and they make them, like, really, really spooky covers, which I love. Of course, they deserved it. They got all 10s for 30 out of 30. Next is Juan Pablo DePache and Cheryl's Drive to Dead Man's Party by Atwater Men's Club. Again, perfect score, 30 out of 30. I have something to say about Juan Pablo, though. He was really robbed. Now, at the time, I didn't really know who he was. He's from Fuller House. He plays Kimmy Gibbler's husband or fiance, whatever they are now. I shouldn't say now, because they're literally not real people. What am I talking about? But he played Fernando, Kimmy Gibbler's whatever he is. Because, like, if I can't really explain him as a husband or a fiance or whatever, because during half of the show, they didn't like she didn't like him, but he was trying to get her back. And then they were engaged, they were back together, and then they got engaged, and then they had, like, another something going on that they were kind of, like, separate again, and then they got re-engaged again, and then they got married. So honestly, I don't really know what to call them now, but by the end of the show, they were married, so I guess I'm just going to call them husband and wife. But Juan Pablo, he was so good. Like, I really feel like he was robbed. Now, again, at the time, I didn't know who he was until I watched Fuller House, and I was like, hey, he was on Dancing with the Stars. So now I know who he is. He's Fernando from Fuller House. But again, at the time of when I watched this dance, I didn't really know who he was, so I was like, yeah, he's good, but I don't know him, so I don't want him to make it super, super far, unless I started really liking him more than a lot of other people. And that's kind of like me during like almost every season. I usually tend to vote for or root for the people that I know and really like, even if they're good or not, than some of the people that are really, really good and I don't even know who they are, if that makes sense. But yeah, Juan Pablo, now that I look back on it, I'm like, he was robbed. He was robbed anyway, even if I didn't know who he was at the time. I still felt like he was robbed. I feel like he should have stayed instead of, sorry Bobby Bones, but Bobby Bones won and he was like one of the worst that season. I mean, I loved his energy and his personality, but dance-wise, he was not the greatest. And I definitely think Juan Pablo should have gone farther than Bobby, and I think Bobby should have at least gone home and like halfway through the season. But it is what it is. Bobby Bones won. There's nothing anybody can change about it now. But yeah, moving on. Now I'm going to go on to season 29. Neve and Jenna is the only one from that season on this list. Did a Paso Doble to Swan Lake remix by District 78, and they got a perfect score for 30 out of 30, as they should, because that was incredible. Next one from season 30, JoJo and Jenna, Jazz to Anything Goes by District 78, featuring Patrice, whatever, Covington, and they got a perfect score, all 10s, 40 out of 40. Next is Iman Shumpert and Daniela. I was gonna call her Danielle. No, I always call her Danny though. So if you guys hear me talking in a video about Danny from Dancing with the Stars, that's Daniela. Contemporary. She's doing a contemporary number to this week. This week is also Halloween week on Dancing with the Stars. So this is probably the biggest reason why I'm doing this video is because this week coming on this Tuesday coming is Dancing with the Stars Halloween night, and I just oh my god, I can't even talk right. I just saw the press release, there we go, for Halloween night on Dancing with the Stars this coming Tuesday, and I noticed that Daniela is doing a contemporary again this year with Jason Mraz. Man, they are so good. Literally the best this season. It's not even a question. Like, there's literally, you got, you literally got Jason and Daniela. And you also got Charity and Artem, Lele and Brandon, all the good ones. And there's not many good ones this season. Jason, Charity, Lele, who else is there? Barry's not half bad. But what I'm trying to say is you got Jason and all them, but mostly Jason. A little gap, Barry and Peta. Giant gap, everybody else is left. Harry, who else? Yeah, Harry and all the others. Like, there's literally, like, Jason and everybody else, there's, like, a huge gap. Because Jason is literally, sure, Lele's good, Charity's good. A lot of them are good, but there's some who's also kind of on the bad side, but whatever. Jason is literally on a higher level than everybody else. Again, Lele's good, Charity's good, a bunch of others are good. But literally nobody is beating Jason this year, dance-wise. Even if they improve, literally nobody's beating Jason at this point. He's literally the best this season and probably the best male ever to do the show, in my opinion. So, but yeah, Jason and Daniela are doing a contemporary this year for this coming Tuesday, Halloween night, and I cannot wait to see that. I just know who they're going to kill it, and I really hope they get all 10s because Jason, I could just imagine their contemporary now. I could stop, but yeah. They better get all 10s this year, or even just like 2 10s, 3 10s. I want them to get at least 1 10 because they deserve it. They haven't got a 10 yet. The first 10s were delivered, were given, I should say, this past Tuesday for, what week was it? Why can't I remember most memorable year night? How did I forget that? That's literally one of my favorite nights of the entire season. But the first 2 10s were given out this past Tuesday on Most Memorable Year Night to Xochitl Gomez. I freaking love her. Next to Jason and Lele, she's like my third favorite. And Charity Watson and Artem. mean, they deserved it. I watched both their dances, of course. I never miss a show. But they deserved it. Their dance was great. But literally, when is Lele going to get a 9? Is what I really want to know. When is Lele going to get at least a 9? She hasn't hit a 9 yet. Just her highest score so far has been an 8. Like, literally, I think the highest score she's gotten so far is all 8s, and that was last Tuesday. Her most memorable year night. When is she ever going to get just even 1 9? Because that's what I really want to know. And when is Jason going to get at least 1 10? Is it also what I want to know. But hopefully, like, literally, I'm expecting them to get good scores this week, Lele and Jason. I'm expecting Lele to get at least 1 9 and Jason to get at least 1 10 this week. And if they don't, I'm not going to be too happy, especially if their dances, like, killer good. Now, if they both make a mistake, I'm not going to expect them to get, like, a 10 or a 9, or mostly a 10. But if their dance is, like, next level insane, and they still don't get a 10, or for Lele, a 9 yet, you know what I mean. If their dance is, like, killer, and they don't get a single 10, especially Jason, I'm going to be so mad. Yeah. Moving on. We move. So, like I said, Iman and Daniela's contemporary too. I got 5 on it. Tethered Mix by Lunas featuring Michael Marshall. All 10s, 40 out of 40. Moving on. Next is Charlie D'Amelio and Mark's Argentine Tango to Tanguera by Fabio Hager Sexteto. 9 and 3 10s for 39 out of 40. Next is from, I don't know why I had Charlie and Mark under season 30 when they were literally on last year's season 31. But yeah. Charlie and Mark was on season 31. Ignore that I said season 30. Moving on. Also from season 31, Daniel and Britt. Well, actually, literally every dance that is left on this list are from season 31, so I don't need to say season 31. Moving on. Daniel and Britt, Paso Doble to Bury a Friend by Billie Eilish. One of my favorite songs by one of my favorite singers. I freaking love Billie Eilish. She's a massive ass queen. Moving on. 2 8s and 2 9s, 34 out of 40. Next is Shangela and Gleb Jazz to Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift. All 10s, 40 out of 40. Gleb's choreo last season, I mean, his choreo this season isn't bad either, but his choreo last season were literally some of his best choreo I've ever seen. His salsa last season with Shangela. The choreo alone was insane. The jazz. I mean, I really like their quick step for Elvis Night. Like, his choreo from last season is easily, like, his best choreo ever. I'm not even kidding. And this jazz that I'm talking about right now, literally his best choreo. Tied with his salsa, because I really liked his salsa, and his freestyle last year. Those 3 dances tied together. Literally his best choreo I've ever seen. Not even kidding. Next one, this is what I was talking about earlier when I said a lot of people wouldn't agree with this because he was definitely the worst last season. But just based on the costumes and the choreo, I really enjoyed this, and that's why it's on this list. Vinny Guadagnino and Coco's Paso Doble to Get Ghost by Mark Ronson, Passion Pit, and A$AP Ferg. 2 7s and 2 8s, 30 out of 40. Next one, Heidi D'Amelio and Artem's Tango to I Wanna Be Your Slave by I'm Obsessed with These People, Måneskin. Billie Eilish and Måneskin, like, they literally have my heart. Like, I love them so much. Literally, I'm always on Instagram looking at Måneskin and Billie Eilish's post. Like, how much I love them is actually freaking disgusting, but moving on. They got 3 9s and a 10 for 37 out of 40. And 2 more left on this list. Wayne and Whitney is the next one, contemporary to Halloween theme by District 78. Not all 9s, 3 9s and a 10 for 37 out of 40, which in my eyes they should have gotten all 10s, not just 1 10, but that's just my opinion. I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, that contemporary was more of a jazz, which, I mean, I can see why it'd be more of a jazz, just based on the choreography and, like, the music, but it was just so good. Like, even if it did look like a jazz instead of as opposed to contemporary, it still should have gotten a 10. That's all 10s actually. That's how good it was. But moving on, and the last one on this list is Trevor Donovan and Emma's contemporary to Ghost, the acoustic version by Justin Bieber. Like, honestly, literally his best dance last season, for sure. Not even a question. Look at all of his dances first, and then look at his contemporary. Literally no comparison. his contemporary was the absolute greatest. And it deserved, honestly, it deserved the score it got. 3 10s and a 9. 39 out of 40. So, that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. And I will see you guys tomorrow for VLOGOWEEN Day 28. Bye, guys.